Vigilante Williamson here with a very simple question. What in the world is going on with super distant cousin, not really, Zion Williamson? Looks like he's caught up in baby mama drama at 22. He's going through something weird with his career. You know, he was quoted a few months ago about saying he didn't want to get on the basketball court till he felt like himself, even though he's 100% physically okay. And that rubbed teammates the wrong way. And it looks like he's dealing with a lot of different women, at least 3 as of now. They're not necessarily school teachers. It seems like, even though school teachers are crazy too. I'm not going to be very detail oriented because I didn't look into all the details, 1. And 2, I don't want to cover this just from exactly what happened. And I think everyone kind of knows he's caught up in a bunch of drama. And actually, since I recorded this a few days ago, I think another girl may have came out and said something, but that's not the point. I really want to cover this from just like the male perspective of dealing with women. And I am not a advice guy at all. But rather than go into everything, even though I think one of the girls is a stripper and I think another girl's an OnlyFans girl, if I remember correctly, that's not really the point. I kind of want to talk about just how these situations should be handled for all of us, because I think this is a situation a lot of men get caught up in, even if they're lower profile. It's a case of a guy thinking with the wrong head, and I think that's a common thing amongst men in general. And I also understand, hey, you know, when I was 22, I was barely making it, and this guy has millions of dollars, and we're in a different era. He could literally order a woman, you know what I mean? Go on Instagram and say, hey, you know, come here, and that's it. It's clear, though, he hasn't really been dealing with women in propriety, not just from a standpoint of the women he's chosen, which is also an issue, but just how he dealt with them. It looks like some of them thought they were in a more serious relationship than what it is, and maybe he has multiple babies on the way at the same time. And I'm not trying to judge the man. I really want to take away what we can learn from this. I think, you know, when I was younger, it was the, oh man, I'm getting big, bro, and guys wanted to be smooth and not tell the one girl about the other. I think that sort of logic is kind of played out. I'm reminded of another pro athlete, and he was a younger guy too. And I mean, I think he's in his 30s now. But Trevor Bauer infamously said that, you know, when he's dealing with a young lady, he lets them know, hey, it's basically a one-way open relationship. I'm going to deal with multiple women. I'm not looking for anything serious. I'm really focused on my craft. I'm focused on baseball. He's a baseball player, for those who don't know. And, you know, if you get too emotional, then we're just going to have to stop the physical and only be friends or separate. And this is just what it is. And this is how I'm going to deal with women because I'm focused on this. And I think some form of that is how Zion should have handled things and should handle things going forward. We're in a different day and age. It would be nice if everyone was married and with children and living this, you know, 1950s fantasy. Because I mean, it was the 50s. It was not as rosy as we wanted to color it. But in any event, I think he got caught up in the quote unquote player motif. You know, telling the girl, "Oh yeah, you're the only one." I think, what's that Drake hook? I think it's Forever. Telling her you're the one for me, and I ain't even playing the call. You know what I mean? It's like, and he got himself in a bad situation. A lot of guys do that because they're thinking with the wrong head. A lot of guys, unfortunately, my generation taught the current generation to worship pussy because the generation before us were taught to worship pussy. And that's not to degrade women when I say that, but I think a lot of guys have a higher value than they should of mindless sex. We're not talking about relationships. We're not talking about building something. We're talking about hooking up. And you have to do that in propriety, especially if you're that high profile individual or anyone with any resource. You have to do it with propriety. If that's the way you're going to do, if you're going to do casual dating, you need to be honest. You need to use protection. You need to not try to bring a child in this world unless you're ready to. And, you know, one of the girls, you know, also vet women. That's the main thing. Vet these women. If you're going to deal with women, you have to vet them. he got recorded laying down sleeping and some crazy Instagram posts. That's not the first time this happened. In fact, it happened in college with a white girl before everybody, because you know how there's this new thing where black guys bash black women. We don't do that over here. A lot of people, oh, this black girl's he is white. No. A white girl at Duke did the same thing to him when he was still in college, recording him without him knowing, you know, giggling because she fucked Zion Williamson. So I don't think he's vetting women. I think he's just thinking with the wrong head, and I get it. He's young, a lot of money, high profile athlete. Girls are coming at you every which way. I get it, but you still have to deal with women and propriety. You know what I mean? And you have to. You have no choice not to, because now if we're talking about child support from multiple women, I mean, you're getting close to Sean Kemp territory. I mean, he was compared to Sean Kemp because of his play style, and he may have a similar lifestyle. You don't shout out to Sean Kemp. He seems like a good dude. You think he owns a dispensary now. I know that, actually, because he got into a shootout recently. That's another can of worms that has nothing to do with this video. But my point is, if we're going to learn something from Zion's situation, is you gotta deal with women in the right way, or not date. You know, that's another thing. People, you know, a lot of guys don't want to not go get, you know, everybody likes sex, right? So a lot of guys don't want to abstain or anything like that. But you really got to have your priorities in order, man, because look at the situation Zion put himself in. And how many guys put themselves in a similar situation and they ain't got $200 million. They barely got $200 to rub together. And they got multiple baby mamas and that's a bad look. That's a bad way to be. I'm a follower and been a follower of some of the quote-unquote red pill manosphere content. I've been critical of it too, but you know, there's a lot of things to glean from it. And one of the positives was it's kind of not to worship women. I mean, what's the, you know, focus on yourself, king. And it's not just a hey, bash women, all women are terrible, but it's a hey, if you don't know how to pick them, you're better off not dealing with them. Speaking of which, how often is the criticism, well, you picked them. Well, you picked these women. You picked a stripper allegedly, or a porn star allegedly. You picked these women. That was your choice, and you can't do that. You can't do that willy-nilly, and that goes for guys too, regular guys. If you're just a regular dude, and if you want to deal with a woman in a casual way, if you can't be upfront how you want to deal with her, then you shouldn't deal with her. And that may mean, okay, some girls may not accept that and go about their way. Some girls will. And you have to vet these women. Is this somebody who's going to be vindictive? Is this somebody who's going to try to take advantage of you? Is this somebody who's looking for a paycheck? Is this somebody who's going to harm you in some way? If you're just going in balls first, raw, not thinking about anything, you're asking for trouble. And so we'll see how this Zion thing plays out. I'm not trying to bash the brother. I think a lot of people are going to do that. And then, you know, a lot of people are talking about him and Ja Morant. They were 1 and 2, I think, in the 2019 draft. And they're in the news for the wrong reasons. So I'm not bashing the brother. You know, a lot of brothers do the same thing. You know, I'll get hoes, man. I get bitches, bro. I get bitches. And it's like, okay. And now you get child support. Now you get family court. Now you get issues. And now you get, you know, not only issues, you get your kids. These are your children who are going to grow up in crazy situations because of the woman you chose, because you didn't vet the woman, or you were thinking with the wrong head. Oh, she a freak. Okay, guy. You know what I mean? You got to live with that. You got to live with that. So what do you guys think? You guys let me know what you think about the situation, and what do you think about, you know, I'm not anyone's father, but, you know, my advice, my thoughts on how you should deal with this situation if you're in it. If you like the video, please like the video. If you're so obliged to share and subscribe, please do that. And even if you do none of these things, thank you for watching. Thank you for your time. Good night and God bless. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.